is about racing. Project E. Finally, you show yourself. That's an FD. What's that? An H6?
What's going on, boys and girls, and welcome back to Project Zangetsu. So today's video is a bit of a diagnostic video. Ever since I've discovered that I'm having a very severe boost leak in the car, it's led me to believe that the car could be running in limp mode at the moment. For those of you who don't know, limp mode is basically a state that a car enters into for safety reasons to prevent the engine from any further damage or catastrophic failure. Normally it's triggered by if there's maybe faulty sensors, engine sensors that measure things like air to fuel ratio mixture, or perhaps intake air temperatures, or perhaps oil pressure, or perhaps water pressure in the coolant system, or perhaps your O2 sensor, which also controls how much fueling your car gets based on how much air it's getting into the intake, in order to make up what is the air, fuel and spark mixture that causes an explosion within the engine, which is also aka power. So basically those sensors are there for those particular functions, and if any of them are not functioning properly, the car will then enter into a limp mode, which basically restricts performance, which also basically prevents the possibilities of failure occurring any quicker before you are able to actually fix it. So right now I'm just in the middle of trying to self-diagnose that as much as I can by having a look at all the different sensors that may need to either be cleaned or replaced. So I've downloaded an app called Torque Lite. It's basically a fault diagnostic code reader app that you can find on Google Play Store. There's different types, but Torque is the one that I'm most familiar with. And I did some scanning on my OBD port, and we found several issues on different sensors around the car that seems to be showing a problem. One of them is the camshaft positioning sensor. In fact, there's two error codes, I think from two different camshaft positioning sensors on both banks of the engine, as well as the O2 sensor. And I think the TGV sensor might also be experiencing a problem because a lot of airflow comes through the TGVs as well. So some of them suggest that the engine might be running lean. They also suggest that there could be a delay in the return of rich fueling trim. So that's also my next step for the diagnosis procedure. So one of the videos that I saw also brought to my attention the possibility that the catalytic converter inside the exhaust, particularly by the header, by the exhaust header, because that's pre-turbo, could be causing the limp mode and the reduced power that I'm experiencing from the engine. Because right now the engine is not revving anywhere past 4,000 revs. Actually, it struggled to get anywhere past 3, but if you force it, the furthest you can get is 4,000 revs. So that could also be an airflow restriction problem that's happening within the exhaust headers. Because the exhaust headers are before the turbo, that means that that's also limiting how much boost the turbo is actually able to accumulate through spool. So that could also be a possibility for us to look at. So what's unfortunate about some of these sensors potentially being damaged is that it's going to be an expensive exercise to replace them, because I think the last time I checked, the O2 sensor alone is about $4,500 to buy from Subaru, and this was a couple of years ago, so it might be a lot more expensive now. But the thing that still sort of like, brings them some consolation to me is the fact that it's still not a catastrophic engine failure that we're dealing with. So my rule of thumb is always that if it's not the engine, there's still some hope. Yes, it'll still be expensive, but it's not as expensive as getting a whole new engine or getting the engine rebuilt. So I'm going to check with some of my Subaru buddies to see if they can help me diagnose further. Doug Lang, who's featured on the channel before, has invited me to come through at some point when I'm able to, for him to help me give the car a once over, and hopefully we'll find a solution through him that might not be too damaging on the pocket. But things are looking hopeful. They're annoying because there's things that are hanging outstanding, but making some progress in at least discovering what the situation is always a reason to raise hope. Well guys, I hope you found that video at least mildly entertaining. I know not much was happening, no driving or installing or anything like that, but at least it keeps the algorithm gods happy in that I am at least consistently uploading content, and it is a bit of a fact-finding mission. Not all the videos can always have entertaining action in them, but I'm trying to keep you guys updated at least on the situation. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please click on the thumbs up icon to leave us a like. And if you'd like to see more from Project Zangetsu, please click subscribe and be sure to hit that bell icon so you are notified each and every time I drop new content on this here channel. As usual people, I have been Zangetsu, and take care of each other, stay awesome, and keep the dream alive. Peace.
Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah.